Hi, my name is Omid, and in today's lesson, we are going to be reviewing some very common prepositions at, on, in. And specifically, we'll be talking about how to use these prepositions with a very common used verb, which is arrive. Okay? So let's get started, and I'll explain how you can use these. Okay, so when you talk about where you arrive, you could be talking about when you arrive somewhere or where you arrive. So let's start with the first one. So when you're describing when you or someone else arrives, you could say, I'm arriving at 5 o'clock. All right? So at is used with the most specific period of time, a specific hour or minute, at 5, at 6:30, at noon, at midnight. Okay? Then, if you were referring to a day, it gets a little bit wider. So we are talking about one day, such as Monday, or we are talking about one date, such as January 25th. All right? So with that, we would say on. So on Monday, on Wednesday, on September 15th, and so on. Okay? I'm arriving at 5 o'clock on Monday, January 25th. All right? In this case, you saw that I used both of the prepositions. Right? Let's move on. If you're referring only to the month, or the year, or the season for some reason, then we go to the widest option that we have, and that's with the preposition in. All right? So, at is very specific for a particular time. On covers one day or one date, and in covers a month, a year, or a season. For example, they arrived in July, or she is arriving in 2024, or we are arriving in the summer. Okay? So that's how you can use at, on, and in to describe when you're going to arrive. But usually, we don't only say when we are going to arrive. We also mention where we are going to arrive. So the same prepositions come in. All right? At and in this case. And there's a difference. So let's look at what it is. So when we are talking about where you arrive, we use the preposition at when we are referring to a specific place. So just like with time, we used at for a specific time. With place, we use at for a specific place, such as at Heathrow Airport, right? The specific airport. Or a hotel at the Sheraton, all right? Now, whether you give the actual name of the airport or you give the actual name of the hotel doesn't matter. Even if you said, I'm arriving at the airport, okay? You don't give the name of the airport, that's okay. You still have to say at the airport or at the hotel, okay? Or at the office, for example, because it's a specific place. Then, if you're going to talk about the city or the country, you need to use a different preposition. This time, you have to use the preposition in. So you would say something like, I'm arriving at Heathrow Airport in London at 5 o'clock. All right? So now you've got where and when in one sentence, which is actually how it is in real life, right? So at for a specific place, like airport or hotel. In for the city, in London, in Paris, in Toronto, and in also for the name of your country or the country you're going to. So, I'm arriving in Russia. I'm arriving in Canada. I'm arriving in India, etc. Okay, so these are the basic rules, okay, for prepositions that we use most commonly with the verb arrive. Now, I've written a little bit more to show you that There are a few exceptions. Of course, English loves to have exceptions, and this is no exception. So when we say, he arrived yesterday, now you see that I have used no preposition, okay? They arrived last year, or they're going to arrive next week. They're going to arrive tomorrow. With all of these expressions, we don't need to use any preposition at all. Okay, and similarly, we have one very special place called home. And when we use the word home, we don't need to use any preposition. So we just say, he arrived home safe and sound at 5 o'clock. Let's say, okay, he arrived home. We don't have to say, he arrived to home. We don't have to say, he arrived at home. Nothing. We just say, he arrived home, or I'm arriving home at this time. So that's pretty much the overview that you need to be able to use this verb correctly. Let's try out a few examples and see how you do. I arrived blank, the Hilton, blank, New York, blank, 7 o'clock. So what could you say? I arrived. What would you say here? At the Hilton in New York at 7 o'clock. Now you see, I said at the Hilton and I said at 7 o'clock. That's okay. You can use the same preposition twice or sometimes more than that, and it's fine. You just have to use the correct preposition according to the rules, right? It doesn't matter how often it appears in a sentence. Let's try another example. They arrived, blank, Chicago, blank, the winter. Okay? So, they arrived. Now, Chicago is a city. So we would say, they arrived in Chicago in the winter. Okay, you see that? In both cases, we used in. But that's fine because I have to use in before a city. And I have to use in terms of time before a season. So that's fine. You don't have to worry that you use the same preposition more than once. Last one. She arrived, blank, JFK Airport, blank, Monday. What do we do there? Okay, so JFK Airport is a specific place. So we say, she arrived at JFK Airport and one day. So on Monday. Okay, I hope that this overview of these prepositions, which are used so commonly, has helped you to be able to describe when you're going to arrive or to describe when someone else is going to arrive, which we need to do quite often in our personal life and professional lives as well. Okay, you can subscribe to my channel for more contents about learning English. Thanks very much. Bye for now and good luck with your English.